So it tells us to find the y-intercepts graphically and algebraically. If I need to find it algebraically, I can write this function. Class, instead of writing f of x, we write what? A y. Frida, to find the y-intercept, we need to make y to 0, x to 0. X to 0. So y equals -2 times 0 to the third power minus 5 times 0 plus 7 all over 3. Now I'm just going to use my order of operations. Class 0 cubed. 0 times -2. So I'm putting a slash through it to kind of represent a cancel, or it's 0. I don't have to think about it. -5 times 0. And we're just left with what? 7/3. Remember, my order pair is 0, 7/3. And I'll just label that my y-intercept. Okay? Alright, we haven't really graphed these yet, so right now, we're just kind of practicing graphing calculator, so let's put that in here. And what you guys are kind of working on is changing the window to kind of get your graph in there. So if I put y equals, notice here you have a fraction. Everyone say parentheses. I'm going to put the numerator in a parentheses. So I have parentheses. -2, pay attention, x, right? That represents x cubed, minus 5x plus 7. Now a couple of cautions, let me zoom out. Remember in your calculator, the -2 here, I'm pushing the negative button by the decimal. And then when it says subtracting 5x, I'm putting the minus sign here with the basic math operations. It will say something like an error or dimensions if you intermix them. Does that make sense? I close my parentheses, I'm now divide by 3. Now let's just say you make a mistake. Let's just say like, oops, that wasn't supposed to be a division sign. You can also press delete. And you can also press insert, so second insert, and then I'll put my division sign back in there. Alright, to graph it, you can always just press graph, but we always start with zoom what? Zoom 6, standard. So let's see what happens. Alright, we got a graph. Raise your hand if you got that graph. Okay, now we got to change the windows. Okay, let's just say you're cooking a really nice steak and you got to count your calories. You're like, I can't eat the fat, right? So you have to trim it. Pay attention. If I have to trim it this direction, am I changing the x's or y's? The x's, right? Because I don't really want this side of the screen, so that means instead of having an x value or x minimum of -10, let's change it to maybe like -3, and maybe an x maximum of 3 or 4. So I go to window. We said we're going to change that to like a -4, and x maximum maybe +4. And let's go ahead and press graph and see what happens. I want to caution you, some students are realizing, Mr. In, can I just press zoom and then press in? Yes, you can, but I think the window is more powerful. You're recognizing what's happening on your axes and your y-axes. Alright, so we already know that the answer is 0 7/3, but we can also use calculate. So everyone say second trace. Say it. Now when it says this 0, this is referring to the x-intercept. Okay? So I could do something like, let's try intercept. Well, we can't really do that because its intersection is 2 graphs. Let's try Let's try value. See what it tells us. Did you guys see what I did? Second, calculate, and I press value, number 1. It's asking me for an x value, and we can just put in what? 0. Press enter, and that's what 7/3 is. Okay? Now, it didn't ask us in this problem, but we can actually find, let's make a quick graph of that. So we know it's 2 1/3. Everyone say label. Say it again. To label means to write the order pair and tell me this is your y-intercept. What is this called, class? Labeling. Okay, let's find the x-intercept now. Then we go second trace. And now I'm going to calculate the 0. It says left bound, so left of here, which is fine. And now I'm going to go to the right. So I'm going to the right of my pen where it crosses the x-axis. And then I'm going to try to do exactly where my guess is. And it tells us the answer is 1. We'll be able to calculate that algebraically soon. So I know it's going to go through here. So my order pair is 1, 0, and this is my x-intercept. And then you just kind of make a sketch. Recommend using a pencil here. Kind of just easier to. Everyone say smooth. Your curve should not be a straight line because this is not linear, right? This is to the power of 3. So in this problem, we found the y-intercept, we graphed it, also found the x-intercept, and then we sketched the graph and we used our calculator.